So, Martin, I'm sure you've heard it enough times now, but welcome to Norwich City as our new head coach for the women's team. It's been a week now. How have you settled in?
Very good. I've absolutely loved the week. That's been a mixture of training, games, looking for houses, acclimatising myself to Norwich, paddleboarding at the weekend, just some fun things. But it's been really good in terms of meeting the players and the staff, and then I've met everyone in the building, I think, now. So I've learned another about 200 new names. So really good so far.
And we're at the Lotus Training Centre today. You've got a training session tonight. What do you make of the facilities here?
The facility is absolutely top class. I've worked in a few facilities before, but seeing the proper tour last week and then getting into the first team facility this morning, it's on a different level, and there's already new things happening, more works around here. So for the girls to be involved and be able to train from here is incredible, really, and just shows you where the club's moving to on the girls' side.
So let's talk a little bit about your background and your expertise. You've not only worked in the women's game in the UK, you've got coaching experience in Canada and a little in New Zealand too. Can you tell us a little bit about your successes there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of me, when I say success, I think it's all around the players. I think spending time in England and Durham in the RTC system, and then with the first team a little bit, you know, one of the big things with me is talent development. I like to see players, especially local players or youth players, moving through the pathway, and I think that's one thing I pride myself on in Canada with the Whitecaps. As an Excel coach, you're working with 14, 16, 18-year-olds, and you see them move into the national team environment. So there's nothing better than to see that. So there's been some individuals that have been along that journey and moved through into the national team environments or into pro clubs in Europe or in Canada or in England as well. So really exciting for me to see that. And yeah, I think my background has been good in the Northeast, but also in the world of football as well.
So with all your background and where you've been based all over, what was it about Norwich City that made you make the move and set up camp here?
If you look at some of the success stories I've had, you've got Lauren Hemp, who's just scored for England just this past week, and there's a bit of history here on the female side, and I think where Flo wants to take this and where the club wants to take the women's side really appeals to us. It really appeals to my nature. We want to produce a robust system where players are able to go and play for their club, for their local club. They don't have to move north, south, east or west. They can stay in Norwich in the next few years, hopefully. And I think that being part of that journey is something that really excites me. Apart from Norwich being a real family feel type club, that really appeals to as well. And that's the sense I'm getting. So being part of that journey that's what really excites us.
And as you say, you're new to the city. What do you think of Norwich so far?
Love the outskirts of it. I haven't managed to get downtown yet. I've spent a lot of time around the university, which I love, beautiful campus. But hopefully over the weekend, I'm gonna head in and get a cup of coffee and go into Norwich Town Centre. Might get a bus in. Haven't really decided that, but very similar to as I would say, the northeast in terms of outside of the city. It's very there's a lot of green, a lot of beautiful walks, a lot of good people as well, and that's what I've really, straight away, the amount of people who want to help us and who are just being really genuine and authentic is what I love about Norwich. So yeah, and I love the green, and green's my favourite colour, so that's always a good thing as well.
You mentioned the university there.
Yeah.
As part of your new role and the club's strategic partnership with the UEA, you also spent some time working over at the university. Can you expand a little bit on your role there?
Yeah, so it's a hybrid approach, and I think if we look at it, how my role is going to evolve. Hopefully we get that pathway from ETCs to university potentially. We have 4 current players in there. I'd like to think there'll be more by this time next year. We have 8, we have 6, we have 10, whatever it is. If they're getting a good education, and they're also playing for Norwich potentially or a partner club, I think that would be really good. So. For me, spent some time in the university. There's some great staff there, great people. We've had great experience. So the last few days, a couple of days a week I'll be spending there. On a match day, books Wednesdays, but on a Friday I'll be spending there as well. And then obviously I'm on campus now, so I'm soaking in all the student experience. So I'm getting to understand how they live, and yeah, I think there's an exciting opportunity there between the university and the club in the next few years for sure.
And you also mentioned the Lionesses there. Women's football is just growing rapidly, especially in the UK after the Lionesses' success in Europe. How can you use your experience with this team to rise up the ranks of the Women's National League?
Yeah, I was just laughing there before. I'm 40 now, so I feel like that I'm getting on a little bit in terms of, well, I'm still a young coach, I would hope to think, but I think that I can bring that experience of national experience and international experience. And I think England's on a bit of a journey right now. I hope they win that World Cup for everyone, but I think the players, the buzz around the place and the level of the women's game has just gone to a different level. Physically, the girls can run longer than 90 minutes, than they can mentally, they're resilient now. And I think with my experience of some international experience plus also WSL Championship experience as well, and them types of players who've played at international levels, hopefully we can bring high performance habits to the girls that are here. They're already very high performing, but if we can just add an extra 1% and growth and improvement is the one thing that we're looking at, and use England as a benchmark. It was only 4 years ago they weren't getting, maybe where they weren't getting to the semis and the quarters. So, use them as an inspiration that if you can put the right things in place, the right coach, the right people, the right staff, and work together for one thing, you can win the Euros, you can win the World Cup, hopefully. But yeah, one step at a time for Norwich, but I really think there's exciting times here for the club.
The club have seen successes over the past few years with County Cup trophies and FA Cup progression. Mm-hmm. We had our joint highest finish at the end of last season. It's no secret that we're pushing for promotion now. Do you feel that we've got what it takes with this squad? Yes.
In the short time I've been here, I think the squad is strong. There's a lot of depth to it. It's a big, strong squad, and that's, this weekend's going to be some interesting calls on that as well. I look at the league and I think I've said it before, AFC Wimbledon finished second on 45 points. We finished 14 points behind, but if you look at the detail of it, we drew 1-1 and lost 1-0 against them. So we've got to make sure we match them. And there's a couple of other teams that we've got to look out for. But I think if we can get off to a really good start, we're going to be in a promising place. There's some quality players here, and we just got to make sure that they're on form. I think the girls are ready, physically ready. It's just tactically and technically, can we quickly get up to speed and get off to a good start? And I really do think we can get off to a good start. And after that, there's no point putting a ceiling on it, but hopefully we'll be in the mix for promotion for sure.
And we've got the all-important Carrow Road fixture coming up next month. Yeah. Are you looking forward to playing on the big stage?
Absolutely. I've been to Carrow Road twice. I was in the away end, I must say, so I'm actually really excited to be in the home end and on the dugout. The girls have had 2 great successes there, so we want to make it a hat-trick, hopefully. So hopefully we get, I'm hoping, I think there was 7,500 there, maybe, roughly. I'm hoping for 10. If I can help or anyone can help push the numbers, I'd be delighted to get 10,000 there. My family's hopefully coming down to watch. I know all the girls' families are going to be there. It's going to be a great occasion. So, yeah, really excited. We just got to try and make sure that we get off to a good start. By the time we hit that 4th and 5th game, we're flying on all 4 corners, and tactically, technically, physically, and mentally as well. So, but I believe we can.
Finally, and as you mentioned, we all know that the girls can put on a good performance under pressure in front of a big crowd and at a big stadium. Have you watched back either of their games at Carrow Road, and have you got some thoughts on those?
Yeah, I think they're 2 great experiences for the girls, by the way. I think you wouldn't want to be going into this first one being our first experience, so they'll be able to recall on that, and Cambridge are coming and it'll be their first time to play in there in that respect. So, yeah, they were both goal fests. Would probably, if you give us a 1-0 over a 5-3, maybe I would stick with a 5-3. But I think it's just sitting with the girls, looking at the experience they've drawn from it, talking about what the experiences were, and then just aligning them better to where we want to go with the club. And hopefully there's goals, but more on our side than less for the other team, if I'm honest. So, but 5-3, great entertainment for the fans. But let's get back on track and let's see if we can keep a clean sheet and score a few in that game. But really exciting times there for that.